Let's talk about this document here called a big picture document. So this forms up part of the 7-footer flowchart, and I will tell you that this particular document is a game changer in terms of people performance, retention, all of those different things. Ever since that I've started using this, it has made a massive difference. So I actually believe too, by the way, that it is completely unfair that if I was a team member of somebody's business, that if I come in and it is not mapped out crystal clear what the expectations are, what you as the owner need from me or the business needs from me, I think it's completely unfair on me, the employee, because I don't know if I'm unclear, how can I go and actually deliver to that level? So the purpose of this document is to help us do that nice and simply. So it's a bit different to a position description, PD, which a bunch of you will be used to. But this is a bit different. So let me run it through all the different parts of a big picture document. You can download it from the portal and I'll take you through the key primary pieces. So the very first part is the common goal of the business. So everybody's big picture document across the company, and I will also say I'm a believer that every single person in the organisation, including the owner, should have a big picture document on themselves and their position. So they all have the same common goal, right? And if you think about it, like think back to the Gulf War, right? It was like, what was the common goal for everybody? We're going to go there and get Saddam, right? Now, but every different unit and people, they all had different parts that they needed to play to actually go and achieve the common goals. So, firstly, it's what's the common goal for the business for that year. So it might be something along the lines of I don't recommend too having a common goal for the business to go and make $2 million worth of net profit. That's not an inspiring common goal necessarily for every single team member. But you might have something like, we are going to go, if you're a builder, our common goal is we want to go and build, new homes for 10 families in whatever location you're in. It might be that you want to, deliver a certain volume of product. It might be, whatever it is, however it relates to your business, make it a tangible metric that is meaningful for people where they all have to play a part in that. But it's really important that everybody should be able to go up to everybody in the team and go, what's the common goal this year for the business, right? Second part is this one here, which is team positions. So this is now what is the actual position. So it might be, and we always put 2 in here. So there's a formal title for what that is. So it could be, general manager, but there's also like a slang, which might be general manager, and their other position is, backstop for the CEO, for example. That might be their slang position or whatever it is. But team position is that person in that position in the company. Third one, now this is a very, very important one. 3 and 4 are exceptionally important on this document, KPIs, which is key performance indicator. So this is the expectations, right, in terms of what you want the outcomes to be for that person. So the big one to write here beside KPIs is KPIs are about outcomes. In other words, they're kind of the post-mortem. Like it's the person's already died. This is the KPIs. It's already happened, right? So what are the actual KPIs and what numbers do you want as the outcome? So it could be a volume of sales, a level of utilization. It could be, if you're in an accounts, it might be receivable, payable, inventory days, those type of metrics. I would personally recommend no more than about 3 to 5 good quality KPIs for any one person, right? But that's the one that tells us if we achieve those KPIs, we're doing a good job. Number 4, slightly different to KPIs, are critical drivers. Now, if KPIs are the outcome, critical drivers are the actual activities that we want to go and do to generate the KPIs, right? So if the KPI was, say, a certain volume of sales, what might be some of the critical drivers, right? A certain level of conversion rate, number of phone calls made, number of sales meetings had, all of these type of things. If I was in my example before, if I was in accounts and I had a KPI of getting a certain number of, getting my receivable days to a certain level, my critical drivers might be, sending out reminder notices, doing follow-up phone calls, all of these different things. They're the activities. Now, the really important part of this document here is if we don't hit the KPIs, right, or the person doesn't hit the KPIs, do you go and change the KPIs? And the answer is no, you don't change the KPIs. We go and change the critical drivers. We go and shift the activity levers to get a different one there. So in terms of the number of critical drivers, you can have more of these, right? So you might have upwards of 5 to 10 critical drivers that drive the KPIs. So that's the part that if I grabbed any role, I could look at that and go, that functionally is what you want me to go and do, right? Fifth part of this document is, that's great that it's there, but we now need to go and get some measurement. We now actually need to go and measure it. So it's nice that it's there, but if we don't measure it, it's like saying, to win the game, a game of football, you have to have a higher score than the opposition. That would be the KPI. If we didn't measure it and actually put the scoreboard up, how do you know whether we've hit the KPI or achieved it? So there has to be measurement along the way of how we're going to go and do that, right? Number 6 is communication. So this here is talking about how we're going to communicate the results with the person or the position. What's the level of frequency that we're going to go and have that communication? How's it going to come? Via email, in person, through a CRM system? What's the method that's going to come down the pipe so that, the person knows how they're performing? And number 7, highly important one, is consequence, right? So I'm a big fan of putting in a piece that says what happens if we don't achieve the KPIs and hit it, right? And actually putting in a consequence along there. So it could be anything from, we're going to have a tough talk, through to a change of role, through to, who knows what. But by putting in a consequence there, it can actually, make sure that the person knows what the expectation is going to go and be. So, folks, I'm going to say, this is an absolute game changer, this document. Now, in terms of its size, it doesn't have to be a big document. Most of the big picture documents that I write fit onto one page, right? Maybe 2 pages max. But I'll say it again, say that every person in the organisation, from the janitor to the CEO and every stage, should have a big picture document so they know exactly what they've got to do and they know exactly what they've got to go and achieve. So grab one out of the portal, download it and start playing around with it, and you'll see the level of expectation and output rise as you get clear on this. So big picture documents, real game changer when it comes to people.